All right, hello, hello. We are back. It's time to continue on with our Let's Learn here. So we moved in a little bit just so we can use the save spot. We haven't advanced the story now. You come in, you do get a cutscene. It's like 2 lines, so don't worry. You tell Steiner's so pissy. All right, so here's your first boss, Disc 2. The Black Waltz. However, this version of the battle has a different outcome. All right, so there is a secret way to beat him that I don't know if it's widely known anymore. Used to be one of those really common ones back in the day. So his mission is to retrieve Garnet alive. If somehow Steiner and Marcus are knocked out, the Black Waltz will damage itself until you win. It's literally impossible to lose this battle because unless you actively go out and knock Garnet out, Black Waltz will not attack her. This is contrast to the previous Black Waltz battle where, I remember correctly, there was special dialogue if you lose the battle. It's so long since I lost it, I can't really be sure. But here it is impossible to lose this battle. And I think this is because Square accounted for people not grinding Steiner and Garnet up. So this is this is an interesting case of gameplay and story integration, where the Black Waltz cannot harm Garnet. They're programmed not to be able to harm her. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Make sure to steal because he gives Vivi a new item. And there you go, 2 items. So now you have access to level 2 lightning, level 2 fire. when you get Vivi back, spend some time leveling up, getting these new items. Getting these new abilities unlocked. Because having access to level 2 magic, magic is going to be very important for Vivi soon. So pretty much, the only thing you can really do at this point is auto attack. Garnet doesn't have access to offensive magic or summons right now because her MP is way too low. Once you've gotten all your steals, get that going. And you can tell he drops pretty fast, hence why if you're somehow struggling, which is very possible if you are unfamiliar with how old school Final Fantasy goes, or you just don't want to put any effort in, knock out Marcus and Steiner, let Garnet solo the battle. Alright, we shouldn't need anything right now. Let's turn on counters because we want to get to this very quickly. And if you go to the left, you can get a little extra thing here. See? It is possible to return to Dali after Disc 3. So if you want to go to here, this is how you do it from Treno. And there is you do need to come back here in order to get certain things that cannot be accessed unless the mill is shut down. So keep that in mind when we get to Disc 3. Now we're on the way. So in this area, you see another friendly monster, the Ghost. Again, like I said before, do not start the friendly monster quest until you have your late game set up, because you want to burn all that extra AP on people who need to learn abilities quickly. So I would suggest, again, as a reminder, hold off on friendly monsters. You go all the way over here. This is where Vivi's Quan's dwelling. This is where Vivi grew up. You can actually come here as Garnet. If you somehow really want to level up, you can use this area. Gives you a nice little regen. And here's Scorpio. Keep in mind what this means. When you get access to the C upgrade, you come back here to find a hidden treasure. Because some areas will have foam, and that is where you go for chocolate hot and cold sea treasures. Some of the best equipment in the game is behind a sea treasure, including Zidane's ultimate weapon. Alright, so there's nothing else except to go to Treno. And also, I'm kind of surprised they didn't recreate this for 14, although you could easily argue that Solution 9 is meant to be Treno. the 14 equivalent of Treno, as it has a huge entertainment sector. This is a missable ATE. If you do not do this, you cannot confront him for getting your money back. He'll actually give you an item for doing it. Make sure to keep throwing it into here because there's another coin here. There we go. So, if I remember correctly, the QTE train here, yeah, sorry, not QTE, ATE here is kind of missable if you don't pay attention. I believe you have to choose one or the other. And you see it's Gilgamesh being a jackass again. Yeah. So you could argue that, thinking more about it, you could argue that 14's Treno is actually Yulmore. And honestly, I could see that. I could agree with that. And this is how you resolve the ATE. And you can see this is a very potent upgrade. Gives you good strength, gives you defense. Not to mention, it gives you MP attack and counter for your knights. Or for your heavy armor user. Note it also gives you fire. So if you want to double speed level, fire, give it to Vivi. And this is the next synthesis shop, largely the same as Lindblum one. So if you've missed out on some items like the butterfly sword or ogre for some reason or another, you can get it here. However, and it's not to mention you can now synthesize the coral reef. So what you need to do is get a bunch of lightning staffs, which are a bit hard to come by at this point in the game. We do have one spare. We need rods. And I don't remember if this is a spot where you can actually buy the starter gear. Because otherwise, this means you have to wait until Disc 3, where there is a shop that has the starter gear. An early Kuja cameo in the disc. Okay, and we can in fact see the other ATs, we just have to move to a different area. Yeah, we're not in the spot where we can buy the rod, so it's gonna be a long time before we get another coral ring. However, keep that recipe in mind. But you don't want to buy a bunch of more of those because coral rings are very strong. We're dealing with grand dragons and other lightning spammers. And if you missed your flame staff from Black Waltz 3, here you go. So you can't buy these two. Remember, heavy armor, always buy at least two. So this is an optional fight. This, the little mini arena is always an optional fight. However, you do get some decent rewards for coming to it in disc 2, 3, and 4. This fight can be won, but you have to be overleveled a bit. You also need to. You should consider having some air resistance, as the big attack is wind element. This is how you do it. Normally, don't do it. There is a way to get around the fight, though. This is a monster you find more of in the Outer Continent, which is not that far from now. So see what I mean? This is a tough fight normally. But first off, we're going to oh, right, there's the Moogle. Well, first off, let's go over there. Take note of the poster. Supposed to be another one right here. Let me check where that location was, because I kind of forgot. There's a record here at 4 inside Treno. Okay, yeah, it's behind the item shop, so we gotta find the item shop. Oh, it's in this area. There we go. So turn the Stellazio in and go this way. So you'll get a good chunk of gil and an extra reward. Now the blood sword is a very useful ability because whenever you auto attack with it, you free heal. And it is actually key to beating the Griffon enemy at this point. So with some levels and resistance against, you know, air, you can actually beat that boss. It's not really a boss though. I believe you can in fact cheese it with hit like gives him Luke, which stops its casting. Let's go over and check that. Generally speaking, you don't want to try to take him on without the blood sword. Blood sword is exactly how you get it done. Haha! So yeah, you can in fact cheat it. There you go. But blood sword is impossible to lose this fight with him silenced. And see how much damage we did? And how much we healed? With the blood sword, you heal back every attack. There you go, full heal. So it's impossible to lose this battle as long as he cannot cast. Easy cheese. And you get a Tomberry card. That's a nice little extra if you really want to do it. What we're going to do is go all the way back to the auction house now. Once you do this, you've entered a point of no return for Garnet inside Treno. From this point in the series, this point in the game, you could be pretty much railroaded into completing the Treno events. Yeah, that's so I was slightly wrong. You can go back and do level upping, but you shouldn't need to, because if you have the blood sword, then you're effectively immortal. Because even the upcoming boss should not be able to beat, Steiner, as long as you do huge damage as it is. This is all stuff that's about to be very important soon. Also note what it said. Okay, so note what he said about eidolons and stones. This is actually something we're going to be talking about. There is actually a gameplay mechanic between stones and the eidolons. We should probably make a hard save. If you wonder why this guy's familiar, it's entirely possible you came here from 14. He is the first boss of the Underkeep. Remember what I was saying about him getting Dark Knight abilities? Yeah. That's pretty much it. and this is normal. So make sure to steal those items before he runs. And now you get control of Zidane again. Alright, so now we've clearly, gotten our gear set up. You do have the option of going back and getting any treasures you missed. You still cannot upgrade until you have, reached new areas. Actually, let me think. If I remember correctly, you can go back and get the mountain upgrade, but... Yeah, it is gated by disc. You cannot get the full C. C upgrade is gated by disc 3. Let me check that real quick. Okay, so checking into it, the Chocobo upgrade has to be locked. It has to wait until we complete the Desert Palace, which is a pain in the ass. So we can go back and check and see if there are more Chocograms available. Fortunately, with speed, it takes no time. And the Chocobo's right there, too. Gotta go fast. Okay, so yes, we are currently still locked off from going for the mountain upgrade. So it's always good to check, because sometimes I can't, I am going to get things wrong. And you need to come back here to get part of the Dali Coffee Quest. Remember correctly, you cannot get it unless you see that event from Steiner. Where's that entrance? We were just there too, damn. There's not much to do except go to Cleyra. But make sure you come back here when you get the sand in the area filled up. If you didn't get that staff before then, you can't get it now. So this is a missable item. Another flame staff. There we go. So this is a pretty much a one-time visit area. If you don't get these items now while you're here, you'll never have another chance to. Ah. It's not possible to avoid this. Welcome to Cleyra. There's no point not doing it, so go ahead. That helps you get around, find your way around as well. You get to see Queen looking at the camera. Make sure to get some gear upgrades. There was a nurse. Let me check the Stellazio. There could be one here I'm forgetting. But generally speaking, the Stellazios are not in one-time area only, one-time visit areas. However, if you go to disc 4, then you can't complete it because there are ones that get locked, areas get locked off. It looks like there aren't any Cleyra. Okay, I remembered right. So note our levels. I forgot to talk about this. Our levels are... We're at the point where we can get through a lot of the game with this party. Note what happens if we go back to try to interfere. But you can go in and out and refresh the event. Quina is awesome. See, this is what I was talking about last session. They will refer, they'll refer to Quina with, different pronouns. Usually that. But there is an upcoming mechanic that, heavily implies, well, say before. Find yourself in need of items, go get them. And here is a boss that can be a little bit difficult if you're under level. But we are absolutely not. We'll get back our full party too. And also, if Quina was not recruited, you know, she will not be available here. So if you didn't recruit Quina, you would not see that little, you know, funny ATE. And the dialogue with the two Cleyra and dancers will change. Now we, you know, understand the identity of jackass rat kid from the start. So this works like Minus Strike. It's very useful. You have Quina, you know, tanked up. And the 8-line will drop quick. Even if we were under leveled a bit, Bio will still do a lot of the heavy lifting here. So do Chocobo Hot and Cold to get Bio, because this is one of the best things you can do, especially if you're in a low level run. Because I think it has strong damage regardless of your level. It just scales up better. Yeah, I remember one of these complaints about 9 all the way back in the GameFAQs days, when it was the main source of stuff for gaming online. How somebody pointed out after the dance scene in 8, you know, the graduation ball dance scene, how Rat's River dancing was a letdown. I don't know why I remember that just now, but I mean, it's not wrong. Look, they are river dancing. Yeah, ominous. And if you go back down, the sands stop shifting, so you can go back and get some items that were a problem before. So this actually does have a slight impact on gameplay. If you believe her, then the Muggles will remark that Garnet still trusts Braun. If you call her out as a liar, then the Muggles will reflect that. So it is a neat little thing that does have some minor impact. I need an adult. I need an adult. So this is kind of why one of the main reasons why people are kind of disappointed we didn't get a Kuja XP in 14 because they were using so much from 9 there in Dawntrail. So remember what I said last session about Steiner remarking she was 16 and not 15? This is why. This is actually a huge deal that pays off later in Disc 3. That Eidolon can be extracted if the person is 16 or older. This is actually a key point here. Keep that in mind. This is going to be coming up real soon-ish. No, it's going to come up in Disc 3, sorry. This is one of the rare times in this game that somebody other than Zidane is controlled. But I meant to compliment about that. Garnet going to Treno is the only other time that somebody other than Zidane is controllable on the world map. But this is something that was only usable when the sandstorm was going on. I kind of forgot. Sorry. Here is a little mini game where you got to tell everybody which way to go. As you gain abilities, make sure to rotate out your items if you can. You don't want to try to. You want to try to avoid wasting MP. And there is a minigame. I need to go and make sure I got the right instructions because it's been so long since I had to do this. All right, so let me pull this up. All right, let's do this. So, you remember how I remarked about Freya being the Estinian in this game? This is the actual Estinian. It was always implied to be much better than Freya. So, you know, Freya would be like the playable warrior light. It's never really established what happened to him while he was out wandering. Just say he got amnesia at some point, so. And here is your second Beatrix fight. Just like the previous one, you cannot win this fight in the sense of you will not defeat her. She will automatically end the fight after a certain amount of time. So, talk to the survivors of the evacuation. They will all give you gear. Or I should say gear, they will give you items. Again, make sure to steal. And note, even though we are leveled up, she hits hard! So, pop, we have Mighty Guard, which helps a lot in order to stall out your stealing. Bitch! So yeah, this is actually kind of a quirk of the old school Final Fantasy. They will target your recently revived people, so you gotta be quick on the draw to heal. Don't worry about using elixirs. You can. This game shits them out. It's almost as much as a hint. Dude, again, she's hard targeting. So the way to get around this is by making her take a turn and then, doing that. And since we accidentally got to wait, yeah. America, she only does that when she's hit point critical, so be in the fight real soon. And there it is. He literally is too powerful. This is why, again, why people are so damn hyped for the Recollection trial. It's lore accurate ass whipping. Amazing how they just assumed he's one of them. I feel like that might be a little bit racist. Is it like reverse racism at this point? Okay, so Quina will leave the party for until you reach Madain Sari. Again, this is at this point you do have Quina's forces party, so yeah, go over it when we get to start unlocking the outer content. I would skip this, but this is one of the iconic scenes of the game. So this brings up, this is something that's touched on later in the story about how the Eidolons obey the will of the summoner. And it's something more elaborated on. The concept of is more elaborated more on in 10, as well as 10.2. And you can see this is where she starts having doubt about what's going on. and what you're hearing right now is the Roses of May. In 14, that's what the Recollection Trial is called. For its sound, for its song name. However, it's kind of wrong in the sense of this is a slow version of water. This is the slow version of the theme that we hear during Disc 3. The one in Disc 3 is the one that is closer to the melody heard in 14. That is the more energetic, high-pitched version, so to put it one way. We'll go over that when we hit Disc 3. There's nothing here to get. It's the only time in the game that you're on a red rose. But now we are heading towards Alexandria. Make sure to go back and talk to the Moogle. This is a missable Moogle. This is an easy one to miss up. It could be, yeah, we need to slow down there. Basically in the momentum. Note he finally gets a break skill, or rather a very useful break skill, because mental break will help deal with magic power. And if you really want to, you can just AFK this area and kill Alexandrian soldiers over and over to get some abilities. Not necessary, however. And you can actually avoid them if you just move a little out of the way. They won't chase you, look. Oh, we can't go up there, we just can't. Nothing we can do, man. And make sure to strip markers of gear if you really want to. So I should point out there is a hidden boss here. Can fight it on your first visit here in Disc 2. However, the traditional, easier one to do it is in Disc 3 when you're there begin with. The reason why you don't want you can do it on Disc 2, the harder fight, however. The reason why you want to do the fight is to get an auto haste gear from them. However, it's better to do it on Disc 3 when you're here during the defense of Alexandria. So that is something to keep note of. Yeah, look the wrong way. Note the timer ticks down even if you're in the menu, so yeah. Be quick. Ah. the hell designed this place? Big boss? All right, so there's a little strategy here. When they start casting something, hit them to disrupt it. See? Make sure to loot them. We did too fast. So let me see. The other item would have been, yeah, you had to watch out because if you kill him too fast, yeah. See, Zorn had a partisan of the Stardust Rod. Ah, damn. Stardust Rod teaches. Well, you can get it in Lindblum, it's an upcoming area, so that's not a big deal. But it's nice to have free stuff, right? It gives her ability. Oh, damn it. Ability up. So that is definitely something you wanted to get. Because that getting Garnet her ability up quick is early on is very much worth it. It's okay. Again, we can buy it in Lindblum. We're not that far from now, and honestly, it's not that big a deal. You lose out a little bit of AP between now and then if you're not going out and grinding. So Kupo's letter would change depending on whether or not Garnet believed Braun. This is the final one. Your final encounter with Beatrix. Do note, this is much closer to the actual recollection fight, where you actually fight her in the recreation of Alexandria Castle. And note you have the regular boss team now instead of that was before. If you don't have Queen anymore, you can't defend against her too well. Be sure to steal. Still hits like a damn truck. Keep stealing, and once you got your items, blaster. Just survive. There we go. And she uses that in the trial. Only it's called, I think it's called Holy Climb Hazard there. Or Holy Hazard. No, she just walks right past us, not even caring. All right, so you're gonna lose Beatrix. So you're gonna lose Freya for the rest of the disc. These are all skills that Steiner can get once you hit disc 3 and start getting the okay, you can buy one of his weapons that teaches these, but the others have to be found in Chocobo Hot and Cold. I would do a character overview of Beatrix, however, she is not, unless you are using a Moguri mod, she is not an actual permanent party member. But otherwise, she's basically the paladin in this game. She gets cool stuff that paladins in 14 wish they got. Although the 14 paladins they're down way harder. And she can pretty much insta-kill. This is one of the very few times in the game you can actually see her victory pose. Pursued by banner snatchers in the rest of the area. Monty is in an upcoming area, so grab that while you're here. This is a different one, so steal again. If you don't have a oak staff by now, this is where you can get one. But remember, you cannot scan bosses. And scan is so useful for running blue mage spells. Pretty straightforward fight. So remember back in the talk about when the chocobo hunting cold the forest, and they were talking about an ugly woman. Bingo, this would be her. For some reason or another, Lani was at that forest. Never really explained why. Note the guy on the left. Remember that wanted poster? This is why. See, this is what I was talking about a few minutes ago. Eidolons follow the summoner's orders. This is a key thing in this game as well as in the 10 duology. Way to reach that chest, but I don't remember how. This is a very short area. Ah, there it is. No, the last piece can be whatever you want it to be. It all just changes to suit it. And this is something that happens in Final Fantasy II. And, you know, Vivi's honestly right. At least I think, you know, removal... Yeah, see? There it is. That's right. I remember now. He does say, yeah, you guys are right. And this is one of the few times that in the franchise that summons like that will just straight up talk to the party other than the summoner. Something we actually see back in 8, where in a side quest there, Bahamut will straightforwardly talk to the party. And you can jump off if you've gotten everything. Also, you can come here early, but you cannot access the area with Ramu until Disc 2, when you're right here at this part of the story. So this outer area is the only area you can actually access normally. At this point, you're going to want to start, you know, start learning her summons. So, I remember how I talked about the relationship between ore and summons? Well, so the more of a specific ore type you have, the more powerful the summon is baseline. So this superior though here is for Remura. If we have more of those, he will have a higher base strength on top of whatever stats he gets off of Garnet. In some ways, you can actually see where this idea expanded into how the Aeons are strengthened by Unis stats in 10. Here is mostly get more ore, and then they'll do more damage baseline, as well as anything they get from Garnet's casting stat for the damage calculation. And note each summon's or type will teach level 2 black magic for their type, for their element. And there's a secret card. Oh yeah, he always knows things. We need some spare bandanas, okay. I should grab that now because that is an excellent item for Garnet. So you won't have any heavy armor uses for the rest of the disc. Keep that in mind. But you should still keep buying gear from them because again they will have abilities and stuff later on. And this is why you want to get those silk robes, because your casters will benefit from this. Gets them access to 2 key items. Loudmouth prevents silence, and ability up gives you double AP. Between that and the Stardust Rod, you can actually learn stuff 4 times as fast. But only for that specific ability, though. Now, if I remember correctly, the sound playing right now did get used in 14. And I don't remember if you can use him, you know, you can send him over or not. There we go. It was possible to send him over. Oh. Damn. That's something I never knew about, actually. Mostly because I kind of ignored it. So once you got everything you want, move out. Jesus Christ. 9,500 for to get, what was it? God damn. He jacked up the price 3 times. God. Ooh-wee. And again, if you miss some items, you can get here, but you should be paying attention to doing them while you're in Lindblum. And again, check to make sure Yoko can't get any more right now. And you regain Quina. This dialogue does change if you did not recruit Quina before heading to Disc 2. So if you did not get her before going to Burmecia, then yeah. Basically going to Cleyra will start a sequence of events that pretty much railroads you until you get back to Lindblum. However, Quina will be put into the party by force, so the dialogue here does change, and yeah. We went the wrong way. From what I remember, it is possible to come to this area, but you can't do anything because you don't have Quina to literally run it down. Look at that. Quina just cavemans that. It's like awesome, really. This is Fossil Roo, a little bit of a labyrinth to get all the items, so we're probably going to skip most of them. That's because it's very tedious in this area. It's actually possible to beat this boss, and since we're fairly leveled up, we should be able to do it. Blast him with electric. He always starts off with a back attack. And he is the first one that will be using death magic against you, so prepare for that. So, this uses level 5 death, void being a multiple of 5. That's the only real counter to it. Oh, she's back for more. This is similar to there's a Black Widow spider mecha in 8. But you gotta keep putting them down. Ramu is one-shotting at this point. Better to just do that. Just keep going and coming back until you do that. Son of a frame. All right, hit him again, Garnet. That is not good. Spinning! Notice she will focus on Garnet level. Alright, we got what we wanted. Blast. So take no Garnet is pretty weak because we didn't. Oh. Forgot. Okay, so I forgot she can do that too, and it's kind of funny how she gets the party. So yeah. At some point or another, we're probably gonna do a little off-screen grind real quick to Garnet up. She's very low on the power section. Yeah. If you want to use her as a, in your main party, you're gonna need to do it. You return. The Dolahan does not respond. However, there is something all the way back for her. An elixir. And it crashes. Okay, so let me. That's the unfortunate problem of the modern, even square ports. Yeah, that's all you got to say is square porting. Like, say no more. We know. Maybe it crashes like once a session or so. All right, so yeah. Oh, gotta turn it back on. Note this one's stronger than the one you find in the Treno arena. So this is the actual Gargan that was reused as a boss in 14. However, the Gargan in general does appear as a boss. But something I should have said, corrected back when we saw the other one. Make sure to make a save because it's been a very long time. And we're going to do some off-screen grind real quick to bring Garnet up because she is a big liability right now because we did not level up. So we'll see you soon. Okay, so we've done our off-screen grinding, brought Garnet up. Also gotten taken care of some missing abilities like ability up and more. So locomotion is one you really want to get because out of the annoying stats effects of this game, locomotion it will prevent a lot of the really annoying ones. Starting in mid and late game, there are going to be some special spawns and bosses that like to use stop. You're also going to want to have loudmouth and clear-headed for your casters to keep them from being confused. And this is a very important item to get because it teaches level up. Yeah, let's put that back on. Not much of an upgrade. Another important item to pick up here, the Lamia Tiara. If you look at, this is a female-only item, so this is why I was talking about why I think can't, why I said what I said. But yeah, it's weird, isn't it? we're not going to do that just yet. And this is a little mini game, but there's also another reason to do it. If you keep digging enough, you can get some interesting items. I forget what though. Oh, Ben, I'm not letting us get there, huh? Wrong way. Right, you should have been way out then. Ah, right. That's the southern exit. Here we are, the outer continent. But since we're here now, we can find Choco tracks and go and get the treasure that we couldn't get because it was gated by story progression. This is another Q's March. Where are those tracks? Ah, there they are. Oh, right one. Diamond gloves teach ability up, which is amazing. If I remember right, anyway. The irony is you can't get access to someone who uses them until disc 3. Try to go here early, you can't really make any progress. This is Conde Petie, the home of the dwarves. And this is actually something referenced in Dawntrail as being the origin home of Cryo. And you see that it's an early sighting of Eiko. This is for an upcoming party member. And now you get, that was another early sighting of something that's about to become very relevant. Basically follow where the owls are. Go the wrong way, it'll push you back. Never established how the black mages can do this. Ivy certainly can't. If you missed the fairy earrings back there, you can create them here. The downside is fast forward. But note, you can only hold 3 at a time. There we go. And there is a Stellazio coin in the end here. There we go, Virgo. This is another reason why I was talking about. Sorry, this is another thing I was talking about with last session with certain mechanics. This is one of them. So yeah, it's an optional scene. You can have Vivi and Queen get married in order to pass through. Queen. Okay, so here is Eiko. He is a white mage summoner hybrid, and Eiko versus Garnet is basically, what do you like more? Do you like having defensive summons and more access to a wider range of white mage powers, or do you want more offensive summons but less access to white mage? Either one works late game. Alright, so the missing stone can be found in the next area. Once we dealt with the boss. So this boss is Hilgigars. This is why you want 100% steel. He has a very rare weapon for Eiko that is less than a 1% steel chance. Okay, let me check this because we should have been able to use that. Part of a little mini side quest. Okay, hold on, just a moment. God. Hmm. Oh, because it's in the FFIX area. That's why I remember now. Yeah, see? Sorry about that. Where it gives you access to a Moonstone early. Well, I'd say it's the second Moonstone you can get. Moonstone's a very rare item. Not much else to do here except go to Madain Sari. Make sure to get the Stellazio coin. Now, this is a little side quest. I forget the exact order, but there are ones you definitely want to avoid. You see. Oh, wrong order. Make sure to say no to this. I think you can avoid getting that if you don't pick a rock along the way. It's interesting that she knew about Bahamut. You know, and I think it's always been implied she knew about the Eidolons inside her. She just had no way of summoning them. Remember what I said last session about, you know, Garnet studying drama becoming a important plot point? Bingo. Eiko knows about the play. Okay, so notice what she's got here. She can learn Carbuncle, Ruby, and Sapphire gives her Fenrir. She gets another item later that teaches her Madain, and there is still the Phoenix Pinion, which teaches her Phoenix. So this is why you want to keep that around, because it also doubles as a recovery item. So what we're going to do here is going to do off-screen grind real quick to bring up abilities, then we'll continue on. Okay, we're back. We've done our off-screen grinding. I want to talk about Eiko's summons real quick. He gets 3 in Disc 2, and then the 4th one in Disc 4. Sorry, not 4, Disc 3. Her Carbuncle has 3 different modes depending on what you equip for Jewel. Default is Ruby Light, which is AoE Reflect, as per series standard. An alternate is Moonstone, which gives you AoE Vanish. Wait, no, sorry, AoE Shell. Diamond, however, gives you AoE Vanish. So she has a little bit of flexibility with her summons. Fenrir, sorry, Dewater. Fenrir, by default, does Earth damage. However, you can get an item in Disc 3 that changes his element to Wind. And this is actually something referenced in the Match 8 fight, which is a fighter channel in the Soul of Fenrir, where he uses both Wind and Earth attacks. And this is why I was saying get the Fairy Flute. If you're on PC, just use the 100% cheat. Getting this early is a huge deal because you could severely change how the rest of Disc 2 as well as most of Disc 3 changes by having earlier access to haste. Haste is a powerful stats effect in the Final Fantasy series. I mean, the flute is another good item, but you want it more for is the Sona. It's a targeted anti-petrify. Now you have a set of scripted battles. Here's an easy trick for the Eiko zombies. Well, there we go. Phoenix Downs have a miss rate. Life with Instakill. Make sure to grab that because it teaches ability up for light armor users. More than likely, you do not have a source of it otherwise, so go ahead and equip it right away on Zidane. Another beginning. That's it. Tongue tied. Another beginning. Make sure to not use fire because it will give them extra damage on an attack. And this is the attack. So if you use fire, it just catches on fire and it will do more damage. And despite being a boss, he is considered undead, so you can insta-kill. Hey, where were they again? Kind of didn't pay attention. Ah, right, this area. That's how you get those chests over there. I believe it is impossible to miss that dialogue from Garnet. Not 100% sure whether or not it can be missed if you didn't examine one of the wanted posters. And again, this is one of the very few times in the game that a party member will be an enemy character. They sure to steal stuff. If you come to this with chance field, it's much quicker, but it's an easy fight. You do way more damage than he does unless you're severely under level. You attack while he's at far range like that, he counterattacks for a free hit where it does double damage. We can just caveman it. already missed it. That's 3 in a row. That's unusual. I think if we missed 3 in a row, we would have ended it much quicker. Yeah, I think if we didn't miss those ones earlier, it would have been faster. Of course, we could have equipped counter as well. Take note of that ribbon. It becomes much more important in Disc 3. Also, this is, I think, the only instance in the entire series where Mughal named Mog is actually female. Any other time, he's referred to as male. Got some more of these. Just in case you want to synthesize some stuff early on. Well, not later, early on, but later. You can leave. Also, take note, I believe I mentioned, but just in case, the area around the Iifa Tree has on the friendly monster, a Jabberwock. There's a Disc 4 side quest at the Eidolon wall where you can get something for Garnet. And remember what I said before about the song? And this is where you get your big plot twist. He has nightmares about this area. This is shown in the opening movie when you start a new game. If you don't skip the cutscene, that nightmare of her on the boat is the replay of what happened here. Alright, so character overview. This is the last party member to join. Amarant is a combination of monk and ninja. He has the throwing power, throwing ability of ninja with the gameplay of monk, as well as abilities of monk. Generally speaking, he's interesting because he can fulfill a melee role in your party, but at the same time, why would you pick him over Freya or Steiner? However, there is a point in Disc 3 where he is very valuable because of his healing ability. Why don't you go put him in a party? Also, notice Quina is not here for the rest of the disc. Meant to comment about that. And Chakra is a very useful ability, especially in the oil verts section of Disc 3. Because this is why. In that area, you do not have access to healing magic, so you don't want to take, you can't use magic at all. You don't want to bring your casters. We'll go over that when we get to that section. And this is why you want to keep a lot of your old gear until you've learned up everything, because a lot of party members are not there at the start, so you want to make sure they have what they need. As soon as you get access to hit point, not hit point, but ability up, make sure you equip it right away. Alright, so if you have anything else to do in Madain Sari or Conde Petie, go ahead and do that. We're actually going to go backtrack there because apparently I missed an item and I wanted to go pick it up. So apparently you're supposed to be able to get a diamond from this. Don't remember how, so let's check real quick. Right, so. Oh, we had to have gotten it while we were already on the boat. Otherwise, we have to wait until you get one from the Chocograph Treasure. You can also get one from the Friendly Monster Quest, but that is meant for the final one. And there is one last diamond available from Stiltskin, but it is near the end of Disc 3. So when you go here, you start the final sequence for Disc 2. It has no bosses, but a series of semi-challenging encounters for this point in the game. And yeah, I meant to call that out, but if you saw the flash, you would have thought, hey, it's Gargan time. Nope. Alright, this is unskippable cutscene. These are undead, so you can't just use, it's called be alive. You won't be stubborn and not die. you always get run down. Yeah, it always happens, so don't feel bad if it happens. It's never brought up again the idea of a sealed Eidolon. However, events of this degree will show that yes, Eidolons can, be manifested in ways other than, what we just saw here with that statue. They expand a bit on summoned beasts. Well, overall they're called summoned beasts, but they're different names each game, like Espers, Eidolons, Aeons, so on. They expand a bit on some ideas that were briefly touched on, relatively speaking, in previous games. But it's really 9 and 10 where they really just go all out on showing what they think the summoned beasts should be able to do. I would skip this, but this is one of the best, cutscenes in the entire game, I feel. And it really, goes back to what we talked about back during the Odin attack. The Eidolons obeying a summoner's will. However, we find out something else interesting about the summons here. Bahamut is strong enough to hurt Kuja. Not to mention, if you summon him during the Kuja fight, next disc, he will react to it. And it's not really the last one. There are 2 more that have not been revealed in the story yet. Again, we would skip this, but this is talking about what I just said about interesting applications. Namely, that a summoner, an Eidolon can be hijacked by a stronger summoner if they have a method that overrides it. Here, he's got control of an airship that can hijack, and it is the same airship seen in Garnet's Nightmare back at Madain Sari. Whoops, I mean, well, it's like 1 second, so let's let it finish out. Interesting how she was able to survive long enough to give her final farewells, because that was dragon breath, buddy. You don't have to be playing under D&D rules to understand getting hit with dragon breath is a atomization. Seems like, Brown was always aware of that something was going on, but she is completely powerless to deal with it. And it's never established who Garnet's husband was. And since I don't remember seeing any dialogue ever naming him or what he looked like. And this is how you find out, yes, that Steiner and Beatrix lived. And I will skip this, but this is one of her most iconic scenes. And there it is, disc 3. So, this is where you get your big expand, where all it's okay. So traditionally speaking, the disc 3 of a Final Fantasy back in PlayStation days was the big. You're doing all the side quests, everything unlocked on this disc, with the final disc being the in-game sequence primarily, plus disc 4 only special stuff. And this of course also corresponds with us getting access to the airship. The airship is when you finally have the game fully unlocked. It always struck me as odd, and what you see Reddit convos about, certain games having being a corridor, and it's like, guys, Final Fantasy in general is a corridor. It just hit it very well. And if you look at the dynamic between Beatrix, Steiner, and Garnet at this point, you see, yes, this is where what they base the spin on. We're gonna do this, and then next session we'll start up here at the start of Disc 3. Once we get access to being able to roam around again. There's a Moogle. Can we save? Douchebags. And yeah, that's not for show, by the way. It is dangerous. Right now, though, we're going to find a Moogle so we can save. And we missed 2, so this will tell you whether or not you missed some. The dialogue does change if you got them all. Alright, so now we gotta save and start at disc 3. We will see you next time for disc 3. Thanks for watching. See you next time.